Even the trainers. Yeah. And we're not afraid to share our journey. And you know, us sports moms have something to say. Yes, we do. We'll have a chance to interview across the board, from athletes to the parents to the coaches to even the trainers. And we're not afraid to share our journey. We're not afraid to tell other moms what we went through in order to raise up a student athlete. So I believe that it's inspirational to be able to tell our story, the good and the bad. We can give back positive information. Absolutely. You know, we can empower them. Yeah, I think it's time for the mothers to be a voice. Yeah, that's it. It's time for us to let you know what's going on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another segment of Can We Talk Sports? I'm your girl, Shannon.
Hey, I'm Karen Reed.
And we got Kawasaka. Hey, Kawasaka, can you hear us?
Hey, Kawasaka.
Yes, I'm in the back. I'm in the background.
You're in the background.
I'm
All
here.
right, all right. So listen, y'all, this is a good segment. I'm trying to get focused because see, our cameraman kind of got us side by side, so I'm trying to line up. So anyway, all right, ladies, tell me how your Christmas went.
Ooh, I'm glad it's over.
Can you
If I
tell the
don't-
Lord? Thank you.
My Christmas was good. It was just good to have family. I had my kids and just cooked. It was just good to be in good health, good spirit. You know, I had my grandbaby running around. It was just a good day to celebrate Jesus.
And what about you, Kawasaka? How was yours?
Hey. My Christmas, we actually had Christmas on Sunday, that Sunday, and I slept. I'm
Did you?
sorry. I slept the whole day.
Listen, I ain't mad at you. Listen, I ate, watched movies, ate again, watched movies, and ate again. Okay, yes, I did say I ate and ate. So don't
Yes.
nobody judge
3
me because
times.
y'all was out there eating too, right?
Right.
Don't say nothing. But yes, I ate and watched movies and chill. My son, you know what? He made me mad. He come running down the steps talking about it's 70 degrees, it's 75 degrees. That's what I'm talking about. And I
Right.
was like, no, I wanted some snow, some rain,
Right.
something. He
Right.
up there dancing. I was like, you know what? I
It
don't
was
like
a
you right now.
beautiful day, wasn't it, you guys? The sun
It
was
was.
out here in Texas. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, yeah,
It
I was
was.
expecting some snow and rain. So, you know, that's how it goes anyway. Okay, so you
Yeah.
guys got plans for New Year's?
I believe
Uh,
a midnight service, church.
Okay,
That's about it.
I gotta tell y'all
Yeah.
a funny story. So when I was growing up, my mama used to say, "You go to the club, you know Jesus is gonna come back." And I'd be like, so every New Year's, I never went to the club because I was scared Jesus was gonna come back. And
Mm.
so I listen, I did the whole time. I go to church on New Year's. Then when I was younger, I go to the clubs later, but I never went out on because I was like, it'd be my luck. Jesus come when I go to the club.
Right.
So I always stayed in the house
I
on New
remember
Year's.
telling one of my sons something like that. You
Yeah,
better not miss church.
it worked for me because I wouldn't go. I was like, it'd be my luck. I'll be getting my groove on and Jesus cracked the sky. Really?
Oh.
Out of all the times you want to come back, you want to come back on New Year's. So I didn't go, y'all. I always stay home and chill with the family or go to the service. So, you know.
Yeah.
But
Me
listen, I want to
too.
give a shout out to Nicole, our production assistant, she keeps us right, don't she? I mean, she be
Yes.
sending us emails. This is your topic. This is what you're going to talk about. I be looking at the email like, dang, we got to do that and that.
Right.
It's funny. She cracks me up. And then
Yeah.
Brian, our tech guy, Brian, I know you hear us. He in the
Yeah.
background, y'all. He's the one that be scrolling all the what is it? President? No, what is it? Karen for president. When you see him
Right.
across the screen, that's our tech guy, Brian. So he keeps us right. So we want to give a shout out to them. And Katrina, she's representing Alabama.
Yeah.
She's not here, and Aisha and Big Mama. So I got to give a shout out to our team. You know, we
Yes.
hold it
Yes.
down.
Yes.
Yes.
We're going into 2020
Yeah.
ready.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Listen, I ain't making no resolution. I'm gonna tell
Oh,
y'all right now. I always do it in
Me
the end
neither.
and don't even follow through. I say I'm done.
It's
I'll be like,
already
"Ooh,
2020.
no.
exactly,
Listen, it's already 2020.
right."
You
What you talking
guys,
about?
I had a word today in church. You know, I know this is a sports talk show, but let me tell you what the word was.
Come on.
2020, my pastor talked about 2020 adds up to 40, and that means new era. That means exiting the wilderness. And I was just like, what? We are
Wow.
exiting the wilderness. This talk show, and then he gave me a Hebrew name. It was called the widening of the mouth.
Mm.
Oh, don't you
Wow.
hear that? The
Yeah.
widening of the mouth. And that right there, for me, that represents us as sports mom being able to open our mouth. It is time for us to open in our mouth.
Yeah.
So in 2020, baby, we coming for you.
Okay, I got to give another shout out to Karen. Listen, DeSoto, did you hear that? 2020, she coming for y'all. Can y'all please make her president? Every show, I'm
No,
mayor,
no,
president, Congress, whatever you
no.
want to do. I'm telling you, she repping DeSoto, so she coming
No,
for you in 2020.
I'm,
She's ready.
I'm saying the sports world.
That's
We
what I'm
coming.
saying.
Sports mom.
We could make you the
We,
sports mom of DeSoto.
no.
You know, I always gotta give you a shout out like that. I love it. I do. So yeah, 2020 is gonna be good. It's
Yeah.
clear vision, you know, and this is actually a perfect show to end 2019. We're gonna go start shifting right on into it called The End Game. So I don't know
Yeah.
if everybody's seen the movie The End Game. It was really good because it even showed even superheroes had to come to an end,
Yeah.
right? And so when we kind of got together, we were all talking about like what's your end game? You know, what
Yeah.
happens if a injury happens or, you know, you retire? What's the end game? And a lot of
Right.
athletes don't have an end game, you know, and a
Right.
lot of parents don't even know how to talk to their kids about an end game because all they think is athlete, famous.
Right.
There's no end game.
Right. Right. No,
So
what if?
right. It's
Yeah.
like they're scared of the what ifs. You know,
Yeah.
what if a knee injury happens? I know
Right.
about those. You know, what if
I do too.
you know what if a concussion happens? That's major. I know about those too. So it's like we need to talk about the end game and help our parents and even our coaches be up 100 and talk to these athletes about the end game.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes. I
it's
think
a
it's a great topic. It is a great topic for us to talk about. I can remember, you know, my son's senior year, he got invited to like almost like where all the seniors came together and played. And it was another chance where colleges could see you again. And so he was playing on both sides of the ball and he was playing in defense. And like the third or fourth play of the whole game, he
Mhm.
got injured. And we were just like, oh, you know, and they had to, you know, take him off the court. And, you know, here mommy is praying, oh God, don't let it be the ACL. Don't let it be injury that's going to take him out. I'm praying it for him because I know how much he loves sports. I'm probably praying it for me because that's all I had him in. And so, you know, we had to actually think about what
What if?
there was that injury that could, you know, take him out? What if?
Yeah, like I said, it's something we don't talk about. I mean, what do you think, Kawasaka? It's like, how do you prepare for the what ifs? How do you prepare for the how do you prepare for the what ifs is basically that's it. How do you really prepare for it? And so this is actually a great topic. I mean, I was reading I Googled about, players with severe injuries and I mean there were some that concussion that literally took them out. They could not play anymore. It was so severe. There was um, a blown out knee. An athlete blew out his knee, professional, couldn't play. But then it's when I got to the financial ones, right? Like all the players that went broke, right? So I start going down this list. It ain't funny, but listen, I start going down this list and I was like, Mike Tyson lost $400 million. My brain could not wrap around how you lose 400. I couldn't fathom it, right?
Yeah.
I kept going. I was like, they made a mistake. He lost $4 million, right? Like they put some extra zeros, and then there was players that are broke that are like working at grocery stores, and I
Mm.
mean they've got they didn't pay these jokers didn't pay their taxes. They have lawsuits against them. Some embezzled money, and you're going, wait, what? There was no end game. So you have to go back then. There was no one that taught these athletes finance the value of money and savings, right? And I will say that for me, when Jordan was in college, I didn't think, and I wish Katrina was on this show because me and her had a conversation and she said she takes her son's stipend money because they have a full ride and she makes him put it away.
Mm.
And I kind of felt like a bad mom for a minute because with Jordan, I didn't think about it like that, right? I didn't think to say, hey, out of your money, put 1,000 away or two, 1,500 away and then live off the rest. It's not like you really need to. You had a full ride. So I didn't think to
Mm.
do that. I didn't have an end game for that. That in 4 years you're going to be done, and at least you could have had 10, $12,000 just sitting at the bank.
Wow.
I didn't think that because you couldn't have told me he wasn't going to go first round or somewhere in the round, right? So I didn't think about that. But now with the rest of the kids, I've opened accounts and I'm going to do that. But I never had an end game out of college.
Mm. Wow.
That was deep. So I'm excited about our guest that we're going to bring on, which is my son, Jordan Smallwood, and we're going to talk about it because him as an athlete is going to talk about what he had to his end game and how he had to come up with Plan B dealing with the NFL. So can we bring Jordan to the live feed? What's up, Joe?
How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, Jordan.
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We want to talk about the end game and the process of the end game and your journey as an athlete and how you've had to rewrite some things because as you were young, you had I'm going in the draft. This is how it's going to go, but it didn't happen that way,
Right.
and you had to reroute. So kind of take us back and just kind of take us on a journey of your story in your life.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say thanks to you guys for having me on the show. I appreciate that. I appreciate everything that you guys do as women. And Can We Talk Sports? I love it. I love this show already. My journey is basically just like anybody else. Everybody wanted to be an NFL player growing up that loves playing football. The goal was to make it first round, take care of your family, be financially stable in the beginning, just a whole straight path. And I think when life came into the mix of that straight path, it made my path a lot curvy, up and downs and everything. So I had to really just adjust to a lot of situations from high school to college and to the league as well. So I had to go from, not being number one after I got done playing high school ball to now you sit in the bench, you come in and playing a little bit, sit in the bench again, you're getting a little bit of love, then you come through an injury problem or something just slightly, just throws you off. and then it's like you're not first round, you're not picked in the second round, third, fourth, you undrafted, and it's like, okay, how do I get past that mindset of being undrafted, not being where I wanted to be, where I told myself, look, I'm a first round pick player, I'm taking care of my family, to now I'm fighting for a job every single day, every time I touch the field, not knowing what can happen. So it's been a long process, but at the same time, it's been a blessing because I got to understand how the journey works and how if a kid needs that same motivation and push because of they see me do it, then it's a blessing in itself. And I'm pretty grateful for it.
Wow, that's a great story. And I'm so glad that you came on because, I think that's so important that those who have went on the journey come back
Mhm.
and share the journey.
Right.
So to empower those who are coming behind you, to educate those who are coming behind you. So I'm just so thankful that you're on the show and you're open and willing to share about your ups, downs, and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's go back a little bit. Coming out of high school, you went from All American, right? The
Mhm.
light, the lights, the glam, the opportunities, and then you get into college and it shifts. Kind of take us on the mental journey from going from All American, because you have a lot of high school kids that um, are All Americans. I mean, they're like number one in the state or number third in the state, and then
Mhm.
college comes, and some of them, um, the journey doesn't continue as All American. It kind of takes a turn. So, kind of walk us out of your senior year of high school into college and your first injury
I
and
think
your
my
mental state.
Well, I think my senior year was probably one of the best years of my life, playing football, just because I had an opportunity to um, accomplish something that I set goal for the beginning of my senior year, which was to win a state title, get a scholarship, and be one of the best to come out of Oklahoma at that time in high school. And had 3 goals set. I hit all 3 goals. Was able to bring the title back to my high school, Jinx High School, which is a blessing to get that opportunity to go there. I had the opportunity to be an All-American, got to play in the Semper Fidelis All-American Bowl out in California. And then also, just to have the opportunity to have a scholarship to play at the University of Oklahoma was also a blessing with Coach Stoops. He gave me a shot, just a kid out of Oklahoma, he gave me a shot. So I thought that was pretty extraordinary coming out, and you feel like that was the beginning of a amazing story. And then you get to college. For me, I got hurt my freshman year. I'm sorry, I got hurt my freshman year playing. I was out there running routes and things, and we're doing drills. And I was running, and then somehow my foot kind of gave out on me. I had this random freak accident. They say it's one of the random, like rarest injuries you can get. Was a Liz Frank, um, and that injury kind of set me back just a little bit, but also was a blessing as well, just because of it gave me an extra year to add on to after I got done playing my senior year of college football. So it gave me that extra year to use. But in the beginning, you want to come in as a freshman, ball out, play, make an impact as a freshman. Then that kind of sets your college career started and going and going and going. But when you had a red shirt, then I'm sitting here like, okay, now I'm gonna have to make up from playing from a whole year, and then also the new guys are coming in, so now I got to outbeat them and beat the guys that I'm still with, and you feel like you really get lost in the mix. And it was almost one of those things where I had to tell myself, all right, God, like I need you right now because I can't do this by myself. But I had a great supporting cast from my family. I had great friends that stayed behind me. And so the transition was smooth still. Um, at the same time, there was a lot of ups and downs just between life and schoolwork and all that stuff. But I think my family and my friends stayed with me was the reason why I kept going and gave me the opportunity to finish school. Because I think everybody knows that when you have a strong mom and she believes she believes in finishing school first. I don't care about football, sports, nothing to finish school. So I got to finish school, and I'm grateful for that. And after I finished and graduated, she said, "All right, now you got the last year for football. Go ball out, and then you can do whatever you want to do." So I was like, "All right." So
See?
I took the opportunity for that one. So that was a gift. That's what she said after I graduated.
So, okay, so from high school to college, the injury.
Hmm.
What was did you ever think after the first injury that you needed a plan B? Like, because you redshirt, right? So then
Hmm.
you had to work your way up. During any time, did you ever think, let me have a plan B just in case? Did you ever think you wasn't going to go to the draft?
No, I didn't have a plan B yet. It wasn't until after my second injury that's when I started having second thoughts and having a plan B kind of slowly creep in my head. But the first injury was like, okay, it happens. This is my very first injury. I didn't have no injury that was super major like that in high school. So it was like, okay, that's just one. Like, you're not gonna be perfect. Only perfect person is God. So I'm like, it happens. But after the second injury, that's when I started slowly thinking, all right, is this for me? Is it a reason why I'm getting hurt? Am I not taking care of my body right? Which is not true. I mean, it was just another freak accident, freak incident. So um, you just can't be, too sure about everything at all times. But at the same time, I told myself I'm gonna finish what I started. God told me this is gonna happen. As of like I'm gonna make it to the league. I'm gonna make it here. Just hold on tight, keep going. No matter how it looks, you could go first round, last round, undrafted, you still gonna make it. So I just kept that in the back of my head. And I kept the plan B as well as back in my head too. But it was more like, let's get to plan A and then, still have the plan B set up. But also remember the goal is to make it to the league and be able to make an impact for his glory at the end of the day.
Let me ask you this. Now, you said that you came to a point where you said, is this for me?
Hmm.
Do you think that that's a question that most athletes should ask themselves? So, because sometimes, we as parents, we put you in sports, you know, when you a little, we want you to stay active, so we put you in sports. Okay, you like to play, and we continue to do it. And you just got in that routine. If you've been doing something for 30 days, it's a routine. So you've been doing it for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
But do you think an athlete should have that thought and say, is this really for me, or am I just doing this out of a routine that I've been doing so long?
I would think you should have it in the back of your mind to know what's your purpose. What's your why of playing this game or playing any sport that you're trying to play. Instead of having a routine, because when you have a routine, you're gonna follow the norms, follow the steps, and it's gonna seem like it's just boring. It's a boring transition. You're not gonna
Mm.
feel as excited. But when I ask myself, is this for me? Is it all the hard work, the suffering, the glory you get out of it as well? Because there's gonna be a lot of glory moments too. It's not gonna be always just hard, painful, no shine to it. You're gonna get the glory and all that things. But like you gotta ask yourself, can I do it? When somebody's telling me, you're not good enough to play this sport, you're not good enough to do this, or I don't think you are, and you overcome that, that's a big overcome. That's a big accomplishment versus, all right, I'm getting the glory, fame, and all that things, and then life crashes, and then you just give up, and then now you working a 9 to 5 somewhere, and you're not doing nothing. So it's two sides of the story. Are you gonna be the person that's gonna say, nah, I'm gonna be an overcomer? Or are you gonna be a person that gets everything they ever wanted, and then something bad happens to them, and then it just seems like they don't know what to do? There's always going to be somebody that's going to tell you on the inside how bad do you want it. Are you going to push, or are you going to give up? And then when you get to those points in life where life tests you on certain things, like an injury, or it doesn't got to be an injury, it can be something where a coach doesn't see you the way that you see yourself, and you're not getting the shine or getting the looks, or you get played, or it just a drug situation.
Hey, what's up,
Can you overcome
everybody?
it?
Welcome
So
to another segment
it's
of Candy.
it's one of those things that you just gotta tell yourself, God, like, how can I get this glory for you? How can I show you that this is for you? And no matter what I do, if I touch that field, if I don't touch that field, you get the love and you get the praise for it. And when you get to that point, I think that's when you find out, is this for you and this is your purpose, or how can you make an impact to the world, you know?
So the journey with that mentally, because you you had your moments of depression because it was
Right.
frustrating.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so now we're here at the draft time, draft moment, and you have to go free agent, and reality even sets in more as a free agent because it's a little more tough.
Yeah, it is.
So during that waiting period, waiting for that phone call, because we watched the draft
Yeah.
and you were sitting there waiting for your name to come up and it never came up on the screen. At that moment, when it was all said and done, the draft was over, what was going on in your head? What were you thinking at that moment?
At that moment, I was thinking, you know, I felt like I let my family down. I felt like I let my friends down. How could I have did better? You know, did I not do the little things when, you know, people were doing other things? I stayed extra. I did all the work. It was just almost like everything was crashing in, and you want to hear your name called. You want to get that phone call, and you want to just answer the phone, and it's a coach and saying, "Hey, man, like, you know, we've been excited to look for you, and we've been watching you." Like, you want to hear all that. And at that moment, even when I didn't go first round, I just wanted to hear my name called. Period. You know, whether it was
Wow.
the last person, but I didn't get that opportunity. But at the same time, there's a lot of guys that's played in this league that never got the phone call, and they became stars, and they became an impact to a team and made history. So um, they all probably feel the same way I feel. But at the end of the day, they like, you know what? It is what it is. Let's make this work, you know, and you get that other side where I got this hunger that was more of like, okay, I'm gonna prove people wrong just because they didn't give me a call. They didn't give me that one dream that I always wanted. So I'm gonna go even harder, make it a priority to say I'm not gonna give up, no matter what it takes. You're gonna see me on that field. You're gonna see me on Sundays, whatever day the game days are. You're gonna see me play. You're gonna see me make an impact on the team, and I'm still gonna praise God no matter what. He's gonna get me there, regardless, without a call or not. He still got my back.
So if why did you feel like you let your family down? Because you hear a lot of players say that. They feel like I let my mom down or I let my dad down. Why did you feel like because your name wasn't called because you accomplished so much? I mean, you graduated, you had
Yeah.
2 major awards, for your character, the Prentice Scout and the Don Key. You stayed out of trouble, no drugs, jail. So what at that moment made you feel that you let your parents down? Because we got to go somewhere with this because we have to understand why why a lot of athletes don't have plan B, that they literally um, only survive or only thrive on a plan A. So going back to the question, what made you feel like you let your family down?
I think for me, I think for me it was I loved everything that my family's done for me in the process of everything. Just from taking the sacrifice time to take me to football practices to, you know, buying things for me when we didn't have a lot. And you see that as a kid, and then you see that growing up. So you kind of put in the back of your head, like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that they're gonna get all the stuff that I, you know, got from them. They're gonna get it in return from me. And you kind of had that idea of I'm gonna get my mom this car. I'm gonna get my dad this crib. I'm gonna make sure they got money in their pocket. I'm gonna make sure they are happy and they know that, you know, I was thinking of them the most out of all the situations and all the hard times. I was thinking of my family. And when you don't get that opportunity, then you feel like, well, man, like you see somebody else's dream come true, and you see that blessing their family and blessing them, and you like, man, like I know they see that. I know they see the, you know, the social media. I know they see all that stuff, and you want to do the same thing for your parents, but you can't at the time. And it's not saying that you can't do it still. It's just that now it's just a little bit longer process before I'm able to do so. And so that's the frustrating part. But I think when you had to realize that you can still, I've seen people that go undrafted, play a couple years, and then still be able to bless their mom or dad with something they still always dreamed of, like it was their rookie year. So it's like it's still possible. But I guess when I had to take that longer route, it just made me realize, like, okay, like I I don't want to do it, but God, it has to be a reason why I'm doing this. So I'm gonna take this longer route, and I'm gonna get there, and it's still gonna give you the glory and praise. And then somehow I know a kid's gonna be watching this, and even if it's just one kid, as long as it's somebody that's gonna bring you closer to God, then I'm good with it.
Okay. So now the draft is over and you get the call, the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Tell us about that journey, because it was at the end of that journey that things really hit hard. So tell us about that journey from getting that phone call and going to the Chiefs, and your thought process of, I'm here, I made the 1%, and I'm ready to work, all the way up to the release.
For me, going to KC was probably one of my biggest achievements, just because I had the opportunity to go there. They gave me a shot. They gave me a chance to go up there and see what I can do. And that was a blessing right there, because that team didn't have to do that, but they did. And I made the last, percent basically to get in. I came in as a tryout guy to rookie mini camp, and they were only taking about 3 people at the time. And there was about 70 guys trying out all positions. Didn't matter what it was: receiver, quarterback, DB, linebackers. They're taking anybody. And I was one of the 3. It was me as a receiver, a defensive back, and a center. They took, and everybody else, they had to let go. And it was one of those crazy feelings, because they told me to stay. I was thinking about to fly back home. I didn't do too much to make an impact, but I did. And there was a lot of other guys that was making some big plays. And so I was thinking to myself, well, I don't know what I'm gonna really do right now, because I'm on my last day of camp, and I'm just gonna give it everything I got. I have nothing else to lose. And so I made a couple catches, a touchdown, and but I'm thinking, like, I didn't get to do that stuff on day 2, day 1. It was only 3 days, and so I was like, all right, well, God, like, this is it. I'm giving you everything I got, and so let's see what happens. I'm sitting there at lunch. They tell me to stay, stay a little bit longer. We got to talk to you, and had the opportunity to sign my first NFL contract. And that was amazing, because it was one of those things I'm like, wow, like, I still got to sign an NFL contract without getting drafted, without being first round, second round pick. I went free agent, tryout guy as a free agent, and still got an opportunity to sign. And that was probably one of the greatest achievements, going into my first year playing in the league. And preseason was good. Training camp was good. All that was good. And then, we have to do this final cut. And I was for sure thinking I was going to be practice squad, because of, how I was performing, how I was doing things. And I didn't get that opportunity, the opportunity to come out to be the way I wanted to be. End up getting cut, end up getting released. And then I had to go through this period where, now I'm sitting at home and I don't have my plan B ready yet. And so my plan B was still in the back of my head, but I had to stop for a little bit and think, I'm going to still play football first, and I'm good. But then after the big cut, the big release, I end up having to activate my plan B for right now until plan A can go back and keep going. So that was hard. I had to go back home. I had to face, my family. I had to face some friends of mine, just like, tough times of explaining what happened in the league. And they're thinking, they're trying to give you love and sympathy, but you're kind of like, I know what they're thinking in the back of the head, like, he probably ain't that good. And you're like, no, like, you are. But like, the business of the league is a lot tricky. And a lot of people don't understand how it goes, but I just kept my head down. I think my mom took me to anywhere to look for a side job to keep me just from going mentally, the depression part. So I try to get my mind out of it. So my mom took me anywhere, and she took me to a gym, and I was able to work at a gym for a little bit and just kind of still keep training, work at the gym, and keep my mind occupied until I was able to get a call again. So I think that was the blessing, with my mom and my family telling me, look, it's going to happen. Be patient, stay ready. And at the same time, let's slowly start working on your plan B. And that plan B can still be something special, just like plan A, but you got to have it started instead of just not doing nothing and sitting on the couch.
Wow. Let me ask you this. You were saying when you had to come back home and how, your friends is asking you and you having to explain. Would you have rather not had told them and kind of kept it all under the cover so you wouldn't have to explain to anybody until you actually made it? Or do you think that was a lesson as far as just helping you cope and just deal with everything, talking about it, being able to talk about it, someone go through how you felt?
No, I think it was big for me to explain, because there were certain friends that I needed to hear positivity from and that had my back. And then there was also certain friends that I need to find out who has my back and who was there for me from the get-go. And so I started to see that pattern. I started to see one side still like acting like, it doesn't even matter. I didn't even care if you play sports or not. All I know is our friendship and our brotherhood. And that was like one of those things I was like, okay, like he doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter to him. So he's still going to love me the way, he always loved me as a brother. And I've seen other people and they talk bad and they talk dirty to you and they kind of like fade away, I guess, without even noticing. And then you kind of have to keep that in the back of your head as okay, I remember that. And so I've always, had a small group of friends anyway. And even my mom can tell you, my friend group's pretty small and they're actually all just different. It's a whole melting pot. We all have, different goals in life. I think I was probably the only one that played sports from college on. We all played sports in high school, but from college on, I was the only one. And so everybody had their own careers and they were working on other things. And so we all just still jailed because we all knew each other. But then I had other friends that were just, all along for the ride, I guess you could say, bandwagon, just hopping on because you're doing good. And then when you're not doing good, you don't hear from them until you get back on a team again. Then they're calling you up again, telling how good you are. So you kind of have to like keep them in the back of your mind saying, I remember, you wasn't there when I was at my lowest, going through the struggle, and you're not motivating me and pushing me. So I always kept that in the back of my mind. And I always tell myself it was good to express that, explain, and just kind of basically, have my, how you say it, your beams on, just watching everybody.
All right. So now you go through the Chiefs, then the 49ers, because we got to speed up, then the Chargers. And I think, and so in this process, you're home. Yes, we did go and you had to work at LA Fitness and you were the Uber guy for a while. He was Uber driver, LA Fitness, and still training. So I remember a guy telling you from the league that was very humble of you to continue to do that. So, okay, so now like we fast forward, we get to the LA Chargers, which we all thought that was it. This was the team.
Yeah.
So I think this was the very kind of peak in your life, like, wow, this is it, that this is the team. And then the release. So this release was a little different, would you say?
Yeah.
So now plan B is now in place with the modeling, the acting, and different things. But take us to that day that the Chargers let you go and to the day that you had that aha moment of, I've got to implement plan B because I don't know. Now you're out because you've been out 2 seasons. You've only been in practice and preseason, but you haven't played a season. So kind of take us on that day that the Chargers let you go and how you really had to implement plan B.
I think when the Chargers let me go, it wasn't more so as having the same feeling of being let go for the very first time. You kind of get numb to the feeling, when it's all just business now. So when you get released and you're saying to yourself, all right, well, what's next? Because I know when they say it's cut day, it's a big release day, you hear the same stuff about coaches saying, we love you, man, like it was great. I mean, it was down to the wire. You kind of just tell yourself, all right, well, I appreciate it. And, just be 100 with me and then let's just move on. So I kind of was at that point where I was like, all right, I understand. I appreciate everything you've done for me. I appreciate the opportunity to play on your team and, no hard feelings. I got it. I understand. Move on. Got home, realized, it's a business and it's a cutthroat business. So what's next? And so my mom got me this opportunity to do other things for myself other than, working at the gym and everything. I started thinking, what else do I want to do? So I wanted to do modeling. I wanted to do acting. I wanted to be a motivational speaker for kids. I just wanted to be an influence to people and try to keep a positive light, show character building, since I did get those awards in college, and just wanted to really bring that out. And so I had the opportunity to do that. And actually, I was so busy doing that, I started flowing and really not stressing so much about football. I still kept training. I still kept working, but it was different versus my first year getting released and not knowing what to do. As of getting released after the Chargers, I already knew plan B has to start going now. And so plan B has been going on, and also it's been flowing. So it's been a blessing. And I had the opportunity to meet a lot of great people just along the way. And it's been really good. And I always kept it, like I said, in the back of my head as, okay, I know what plan A is still, is to play football. I want to play football. I want to play on the field. And I just kept that mindset. And now, just moving on, having another opportunity to play ball again. So it's been a blessing, and I'm still working on both. And I'm now going to use my plan B and plan A together and trying to make it best fit together.
So your plan B is, so as a mother, and I have to chime in, as a mom watching this, it was challenging because you watch your kid go through depression. You watch them go through the ups and downs. And so your mind as a mom is like, plan B has to be implemented. But you can see he really didn't want plan B, because not accomplishing plan A made him feel like a failure. But you had to go, okay, no, that's not the truth. It's just, you still can be involved, but this is that cushion. And I think athletes are afraid of plan B. They really are. And I think even sometimes parents are afraid of plan B, because it's like, no, that we don't need plan B. This is going to happen for us. Plan B, as he said, he felt like a failure. I failed. I couldn't accomplish plan A, but actually plan B is just as important. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as we went through this process, it was like, okay, let's sit down. What else do you like to do? It's like, well, I do like modeling and acting. And I was like, okay, still train. Don't give up on plan A. But like you said, implement A, B together. And so that's when we went through the journey of training, and finding an acting school that he goes to, which they are so phenomenal. Edgar and Josie, they're awesome. And so he went through that, and he landed a couple of modeling gigs and a couple of commercials, and so there's like, okay, but then still there's more to plan B. And so then it went into fitness, and I was like, take your training and turn it into a fitness. And so that's how we came up with Fit 360. And so he started training, and God just started opening doors that he can go to different gyms and meet different people. But we never gave up on plan A. And so even his agent said, okay, well, the XFL is coming up. And at first it was the XFL, he wasn't quite sure, because even that, as athletes, they feel like it's a demotion, being demoted, right? And so the opportunity came, and the LA Wildcats actually just contacted him last week, so he'll be flying out for the XFL. But just think if we didn't have these plans. Just think after that first cut with the Chiefs, there was nothing in motion, or after that last one with the Chargers, and we just nothing. Where would we be? Where, mentally, where would we be? So you have a lot of athletes that don't have a backup plan. And he can tell you he's got some guys that were released with them, and he knows some that just gave up and never went back to football. They quit. And so my question for you, Jordan, is this: as an athlete, was there a fear of Plan B? Would you say there's a fear of Plan B?
No, I wouldn't say there's a fear of Plan B. Now, before, I mean, yeah, there was a fear of Plan B, because you're always told, like, I want to be a football player when I get older. And they're like, no, like, think of something else. What's another thing that you want to do? Because football is not real. So that part right there kind of plays in your mind. And so you do have that fear of Plan B. Like, no, I told you Plan A is football. That's it. But now when I look at it, Plan B is not a fear no more. It's just showing you, don't put all your eggs in one basket and feel like this is the only way you can be known in the world. There's a lot of things you can do to make an impact in the world without playing just football, because football or basketball or whatever sport you're playing, it comes to an end. Your body gets broken down. You're not as quick as you used to be. You don't have that first step. You don't got that ability to jump as high. And so, like, your body needs time for it to rest. So, that's when you need to move on to Plan A to Plan B, and now make that Plan B your Plan A now. And now when you have that moving on and going, the train never stops, versus you get off the train and you're in the middle of nowhere talking about, where am I going now? I want to be able to have that opportunity where I get off the train of football and I'm already like hopping on. I'm just like almost like I'm just hopping on another train in mid jump, and I'm going still. So I'm always keeping that in the back of my mind now, is how can I make Plan B just as successful as Plan A when that opportunity comes and that time comes, and just connecting with a lot of people outside of football and letting them know this is also what I do. I do modeling, I do acting, I do motivational speaking with kids, about character building. I have my own clothing line, going on. I'm an ambassador for 316. I'm doing this stuff, Christian clothing brand. I'm always trying to tell people you can do more without being suited up in a uniform. You can still have a uniform for God and impact the world the way it should be for Him.
That's good. I like how you said that this second time when you got released, you dealt with it a little bit different, and in the way that you went ahead and went after some of the other things that you liked in life, and it was still there, but it's like, okay, God, there's a desire here, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep moving in something else, and it helped you in dealing with them releasing you, So I like that.
During your time, did any of the coaches ever talk to you, any of the athletes, whether it's from high school to college and even professional? Was there a time that the coaches would talk about having a backup plan?
The coaches always talked about having a backup plan, outside of football, but it wasn't never the main topic at the time. It was like, can you put your energy and effort, for the team and focus in and lock in? So it was really about the team. It wasn't about having a backup plan after. Now, when we had other meetings outside of our team, which was the NFLPA, all those things, that was more talking about the team having a backup plan, having an opportunity to do something more than just playing football. And so there was just two different like things that were going on. So you always have to understand when you're on the football field or you're with that team, it's about football. And then outside of that, there's another organization basically with the NFL. NFLPA was basically a players association, and that was more about let's set goals, financial goals, retirement plans, 401k, and let's build on that to make an impact for you to live long after football is done. So you had two different sides, and so you had to listen on one side, and then you could speak on another side. So that was always one of the things that I appreciated about the league.
Did they talk about that like in college or in, well, high school? No, probably not. But what about college? Did they ever talk about a backup plan or financial classes on finances and preparing you guys for the league or, the professional level?
Yeah, a lot of people in college was the same way. They talked. It's kind of like how the NFLPA, they talked about a backup plan and getting your degree and knowing what to do and who to connect with, and that was always big. So I appreciate college for that as well. So college was more getting us prepared for the backup plan more than the main goal. And so they were always telling us, make sure you know what you're doing after, make sure you have that degree, make sure you have that paper, make sure you have something to fall back on when, if the plan A doesn't work. So I definitely kept that in the back of my head as well, but it was more like, okay, well, I'm still gonna do plan A first. And then as I start to realize how after the first cut, what do I do now? And then getting picked up again, the second cut, then I was like, oh, I know what to do now. Cause I remember what my college, tutors told me. I remember what the NFLPA told me. And it was kind of like, all right, now let's work on plan B while I'm in the downtime and still keep training. And then when I get that call again, now I'm about to work on plan A and plan B and making plan B jump maybe farther than plan A when it's all said and done.
Wow, this is good. So, I don't know, Karen, where's your head, your thought process, Kawasaka, Karen, where you guys are, what are you thinking?
Yes, I had yes, as he was talking, and you really answered the question when your mom asked, like in college, do they prepare you? And you really answered the question. But just to go a little deeper, in college, do you really think of a plan B? Like seriously, like when the football season is over with, right? And you have all that time, off season or whatnot. Are you thinking what's your plan B? Or are you just focused on the next season and winning and getting healthier or whatnot? Do you really focus in college?
No,
on your plan B?
No, I wouldn't think you would focus on plan B in college. I think you would basically focus on plan A, getting your degree, of course, and then probably finding time to recover from a whole season. So really not thinking of, all right, plan B now. How can I work on plan B? It was more like, let's get this done. Let's get this over with. I want to make big bucks in the league. I want to make it big. And that's it. That's all I see. And so when you get to that point, a lot of people don't think about plan B. But if a person really thought about plan B, well, when they went to their freshman year, I promise you that by the time they jumped out by their junior year or senior year, they probably already making money going on plan B before even plan A started. So that's one thing I kind of wish I would have done growing up. But now I realize it now, so I'm just going to work on it, at a later time in my life. But if I would tell somebody, that was going to college, I'd be like, look, work on plan B right now. Just don't even think about it. Just work on it slowly. Just kind of build it, kind of network with some people and watch how it grows. By the time you get out of college, your plan B is already moving. And then, you got plan A going too. So it's just like, it's already on the same page. So I would always tell somebody that if they ever ask me, what's one thing that you wish you could have done if you went back to college or anything. But everything else, I don't, I kind of feel like it made me who I am today as a man. And so I think that was my goal for plan A. And so I wish I would have worked on plan B just a little bit more, but now I'm working on it now, and it's still going to be just as big when it's all said and done.
Wow. So we have a question from Lynn Woods. She asked, what would be your greatest advice to the next athlete aspiring to be great, successful, and have a long-standing career? And what advice would you give them if they did suffer an injury?
I think for me, if I was talking to the kid right now, I would tell them the greatest advice that I ever gotten was don't worry about what somebody's doing and don't look at their life because you never know what's going on with their life. Just focus on your career, focus on your goals, focus on you, focus on what God has for you, and give it everything you got. And when it comes to injuries, I know it's a setback for a little bit, but the greatest athletes do come back from injuries. I've seen athletes other than myself just come back from an injury, and you're like, look, if I can overcome an injury from being able to run fast or, move my arm or lift all this weight or just kind of having that mobility to being set back and then relearning it all over again in a certain amount of time and still hitting the field or hitting the court and still having the ability to overcome it, that's a great thing. And you got to always remember, everybody goes through something small. All great athletes go through something small. You never seen a great athlete never gone through something where an injury happens and they had to overcome it, or sickness, or a death in the family. Everybody has to go through something, and it seems like that it shouldn't happen, but it does, and that's just life. But when you can overcome it and you can achieve great things from it, then you'll start to see. And when you look back on your life and your career, you can never say, "Dang, I wish I'd have done that better." Instead, you're saying, "Man, I can't believe I overcame that, with God."
So,
Real quick question.
go ahead.
Would you say, like the road that, you went through with the football, if you didn't have the faith,
Yeah.
if you didn't have the God-fearing parents, and just believe in God, period, would it have been tougher to go through this journey? Like I believe a lot of athletes may not, have the faith that we have in believing in God. So just talk about that a little bit.
For me, I always thought about that as well. If I didn't have the faith, where would I be at? And I think to myself clearly that I probably wouldn't be playing no sports. Probably would have done some crazy stuff. I probably been saying it, or if I would have been playing and I've been balling out, I'm always talking about it's about me. It's all about me. And, I'm the one that's doing all this stuff. And then, I feel like that would be more scary than having the faith, with God and going through the hard times, rather than saying, "No, I'm doing everything. I'm getting this love, the shine, and fame, and nothing gonna hurt me." That's probably more scary to have, mindset, just because, God doesn't play, with people. I don't think He plays with anybody, especially if you're trying to take the glory and you trying to be bigger than Him, and you acting like you never had help, and you getting tested, by your faith. How you gonna react to it? How you gonna come down to the, a hard time? When your back's against the wall and you dealing with an injury, or you dealing with something saying like you can't play sports ever again in your life. What's your mindset now? Then your mindset's kind of like, well, dang, what do I do next? I always wanted to keep that in the back of my head, is I'm not gonna worry about it's about me, all about me. It's more like, God, it's about you. What is the steps to get me going, keep me from injuries, God, as best as you can? How can I give you praise from it, and not have that mindset and plus my family was really big on me for about faith and everything. So maybe if I didn't have them do all the stuff about faith in the beginning, I probably wouldn't even been playing sports, period. You know, I probably been working a low budget job at a high school, not caring about school. I probably wouldn't have got my, you know, my GED and, you know, graduated from high school, none of that. I probably just sat around and, you know, done stuff off the streets. But I think I was grateful to have parents, even if we didn't have enough money to do things, they still kept telling me that we're all happy together and this is a family and we love each other. And I think the love and the faith of God all brought us together and just pushed us through a lot of things. And that pushed me through a lot of things in my transition, on my journey.
Wow.
Wow.
I think that the journey is it has a story, you know. Kawasaka, your son's journey is gonna have a story, and Karen, your son's journey has a story. Katrina's son and Aisha's son. I think that's why this show is so important because all our moms come together. Our children have a story, you know, and so and their story is going to help somebody else. You know, somebody's going to watch this show and just listen to his story and be like, wow, that's me. I can relate to that. But my final question that I do want to ask is, how did social media make what you went through hard? Because you're seeing these guys that you even played at the Chargers with or the 49ers, and some have stayed, some got cut. And so I've you know, a couple of times I've seen them flipping through and looking, and they're showing off their cars or their houses or their gear. How did social media have an effect on you? And what would you say to a young person? Because you're not the first or the last to go through this. What would you say to someone about social media on basically how to be careful? Because it can frustrate you when you see it. So kind of.
Hey,
Yeah, real
Shannon, let's bring in this commercial. Let him think about that for a minute. And let's bring
Okay.
in this commercial.
All right.
Brian.
Well, we apologize for the difficulties. Look, we're still ironing it out. We're like in what, our third week. So we still listen, 2020, we're gonna be clear and crisp. We're gonna have it down packed with these commercials. So but anyway, so kind of answer the question, kind of fill us in how social media played an effect because yes, you know, you walked with God, but there was moments you were like, okay, God, I kind of want to sit you on the side for about 5 minutes. I don't even want to talk to you for 5 minutes because you were frustrated. Didn't mean you didn't love them. It's just so kind of walk us through um, your moments with God, and then how social media can be could be kind of a bad thing, especially when you're going through what you're going through.
social media for me was it was a good platform for me to use. It was a good platform for me to kind of express myself to my, you know, supporters, you know, and just people that are, you know, that was looking up to me and wanted to see what I'm doing. But, you know, also social media was also a bad thing at the same time.
Hey, Shannon, we
Yeah,
might have lost him.
yeah, I think we kind of lost him.
Yeah.
So I'll finish up on that because it went off. But the social media it had its challenges. You're seeing everybody, and that's why it's kind of parents when your kid is going through something like this and they've been released, try to get them to stay away. If they're dealt with an injury, try to get them to stay away from social media for a while, because when you're seeing your friends out there, you're seeing others make it, it plays mentally on their head. And keep encouraging them, parents. If you have a kid who's been injured, who's on the bench. Remember last week we talked about bench, Classica
Yeah.
and Karen, we talked about bench. Try to keep encouraging him. That's all we did with Jordan. We just encouraged him daily, whether it's through the word and building his confidence that, he's still great regardless of whether he plays or not. That was my biggest thing. You're still great regardless of whether you play or not. Just try to feed them with positive words, with positive affirmations, I ams, whatever it is, because it's hard. It's a hard, but have a backup plan. Listen, if y'all don't get nothing else out this show, have a backup plan. Plan B, it's okay. Plan B is good. And so have a plan B.
Yeah.
Financially, your kid go to college, those that get drafted, not drafted, who gets full scholarship, save the stipend money, sit it to the side, put it in a bank account. So at the end of their 4 years, they have something. What else, Karen? What else, Kawasako? Just have a backup plan, whatever field they're going to school in, make sure they finish school. You have a lot of athletes who leave their sophomore or junior year and don't go back. Make sure they finish. That's important. If they go into school to be a doctor, tell them don't give it up, even though they're playing professional sport. Still, be working on their masters while they're playing. Just have a backup plan, because you have a lot of celebrities, athletes. They don't have a backup plan. What happens when the money's gone? What happens when you have a mental break? It's so important to have these kind of conversations with your kids at a young age. I have these conversations with Jaden. Jaden was sick. It was, I guess the girls had been drinking, how everybody drink out of water bottles. Jaden got sick. She was down for a while, went to the doctors, and they were like, she had this illness to where she was out of sports. She would have been out for a year. And is whatever she contracted, they said that if you hit her in the spleen, it would erupt.
Wow.
So they took her out of basketball. And that was a reality. Here she's in 8th grade when this happened. That was a reality check. Like, she's 8th grade. And they were like, you would be out for a year. And we were just sitting there like, are you serious? And the doctor's like, we went to 2 different doctors and they said she can't play for a year. But we prayed, and with the grace of God, she went back in 2 months. But that was a reality for 7th grade, right? Like, and he told me, he said, if she gets, we had to watch her. It's like, if she gets hit in the spleen and it erupts, that's it. She's gone. So,
Wow.
start working on her. Jaden, what's your backup plan? What's your backup plan? What else do you want to do? Let's start talking about that.
Yeah, when I was looking up an article and I was looking up all these athletes that were successful, is that while they were playing or working, they were working on something else. They didn't just have this tunnel view of just working on this one thing. They was working here, but they were working over here too. So when this failed, they were able to jump right over here on something else that they was working on. So we just have to teach our kids, like we as mother, we multitask.
Yep.
We have to teach them how to multitask in creating businesses and brands and stuff.
Right.
And show, my mom didn't tell me anything about investing. That's the kind of stuff that we hope that we can bring to the show, is start teaching our parents and our kids on how to invest.
That's right.
So we have a lot of great plans, things that we want to educate those who are listening about, hey, let's get ahead. Let's all work on a end game plan.
But you know what? It's so crazy. Like, Kwaska, listen, who would have ever thought that, back in the day when our parents were working, you 501, well, I don't think they had a 401k, but yeah, they did. And Social Security, right? And you retired, that was good money. Who would have ever thought we'd get to this time and retirement money is barely nothing? And there's no backup plan. You've been on a company 30 years, and you're gonna tell me my Social Security is nothing?
That's me.
Isn't that crazy? So
That's crazy.
so even now, you gotta have a backup plan because you can't. Retirement is not like it used to be.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you gotta be creative and have a small business on the side that everybody needs, right? Who would ever thought you go to McDonald's now, you don't have that many people working because you could just go up to the machine, which you won't pay for it, with your card and go get it from the counter, right? But I mean, look at the jobs that are closing.
Yes.
A backup plan and having a plan B is crucial. There's no
Yes.
more retirement. Which now Social Security is 65 when it used to be 50 something.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it really makes you think like, God, what's the plan? Hold up. Let me rethink this process through. So
Yes.
what you used to think that was going to get you through is not going to get you through anymore in life. You really got to sit down, get a journal, financially look at finances. You got to look at your career. It's like, wait, hold on. Let me look at this whole picture again. That's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes. Yes.
So
I truly believe the entrepreneurship is it.
it's it. That you got to be creative. You got to create a market. You got to create something. It's crazy. I tell you what. So this was a good show. I'm
Yes.
excited. I don't know. It's Big Mama. Now listen, y'all. It's Big Mama. Big Mama. If you're watching, please come next Sunday. I really need you because Big Mama, I've been telling everybody about you. I've been telling them how you gonna make us laugh. You know what I'm saying? Big Mama, please don't make me look bad. Please be here next Sunday. No, I'm playing. But
Big
anyway,
Mama
I know
must be
it's not.
still shopping or something.
I
I don't
know
know.
it's holidays. And Katrina, it's
Cooking.
Katrina. Now listen. Now I'm gonna need you to be here next week too, because Alabama is all. Oh no, she got one more. Yeah,
One
it's
more.
all over, right?
They play next week. Alabama play next week
Okay.
on the 1st, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna let you slide. I know you're watching the show. I'm gonna let you slide. But after that, I'm gonna need all of us here so we can go into
Yeah.
2020 blasting.
Yes.
So anyway, listen, you guys, thank you for joining the show. It was good. I hope 2020, going into 2020, you grab a journal and write down plan B. Write down plan B. I can't say it. And I'm telling you how crucial it is. Don't go into 2020 blindsided. Go into 2020 with clear vision.
Yeah.
See things differently. Look across
Yeah.
the board differently. Rearrange some things differently, and be ready. So this is your girl Shannon, and we
Hey,
have Karen, and we
Karen.
have Kawasaka, and we want to wish you a happy New Year's.
Yes.
Be safe, use wisdom.
Be safe.
Look, young athletes, be safe. Don't get out
Yes.
there. Be
Yes.
safe. Don't be out there drinking and driving. Use wisdom. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Use wisdom. So, but other than that, everyone enjoy your new year, and we will see you back here next Sunday. And have a
Got some great topics coming
great
up.
topics.
2020.
Also, yes, if you want to be a guest on the show, please message us. We'd love to hear your story, your journey, sport you played, whether you're a coach. We'd love to talk to you. What coaches go through, recruiters. We want to hear your story. We want to bring you on. So please leave us a message, inbox us, email us, send up smoke signals. No, I'm gonna stop playing. But Yeah, so we love to have you, but you guys have a great evening and a wonderful new year. We talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.